Good morning, everybody. Today is Sunday, April 23rd. Saturday charts morphing into Sunday charts. I think that's better. Feels like it gets us ready to open futures in Sunday afternoon. So, new edition now is Sunday charts instead of Saturday charts. A little bit better format, I think. Let me start this week's edition with this is what we're seeing here is the price of silver. I was looking at this and looking at gold, and we're going to go through a lot of charts. Interesting sequence on Elliott with first wave, second wave, big third wave, big corrective four. And, I labeled it here as it stopped in the top of one, and now a big impulsive wave five, which opens it up now for a corrective ABC pattern lower. Um, and this is an effort. I'm looking at prices here to try to figure out how the market is positioned, where the weak side of the market is. Again, all I do is look at price. I am a price first guy. I think that it leads narratives. I know that there's a big, strong narrative out there, the debt ceiling, the Fed coming up, but I'm looking just at price and what that indicates to me. So, big sequence in silver. I want to look now at the dollar daily charts. And I've been on this calling for this to be carving a bottom. I think that there's some um, divergence here starting to form. Not a huge chart, double bottom here. Didn't have a particularly good week. It's been choppy. It's been the market is waiting. I think that the debt ceiling is something that we need to be paying attention to. I think that the Fed obviously is going to have a lot to do with this. But this is not a very conclusive chart, right? To me, I think it's carving a bottom, but I'm not going to get stubborn with it. Gold, this is a little bit more conclusive to me. We went short last week. Great level when we saw, this price kept going higher with RSI moving the other way. The ending diagonal, which was a classic, we sold it at 2040. Great level to get in. We've taken a little profit. I think this has more downside. This may be an A wave, again, of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. I think the C wave could take us much lower in gold. And that's just based on price, right? Nothing more than looking at, spot price going higher with RSI going lower, divergence, classic ending diagonal. We sold some. So now let's look at other dollar pairs. What else is the dollar doing? And I like to look at dollar Swiss. Again, a monster trade. I think, and I put here, this is part of a weekly chart bottom, but I think this is wedging. The RSI is definitely wedging. There's a little divergence starting to form here at these levels. I don't think that this is a bad idea to earn carry and trade against these lows. Obviously, you have to be careful. There's convexity here to get long because obviously we're close to a bottom with the RSI doing this. So it could be carving a bottom for sure, right? So that's something that earns carry. It's close, so there is convexity. So I'm willing to take some risk here. Same with gold. Let's go to cable. I've been battling cable for a while, trading in and out of it. I do think it's carving a top here. Not a very conclusive diagonal here. Look at this kind of slowing down. Not very conclusive to me. Chop fest. Big consolidation patterns in the dollar. This is dollar against Swedish krona, a currency that I love to trade. But look at this consolidation pattern. For so long, it's been in this. If I go to the weekly chart, right, consolidating along that Fibo for how many weeks, right? So interesting patterns. I think like I said, I think the dollar is carving a short-term bottom, but got to be very careful. And for that, I want to look at risk overall and see what risk is doing. And a precursor to risk, an asset that has been trading as a with a high correlation to risk is Bitcoin, right? So I look at the price of Bitcoin and see this weekly chart. This is a sequence, right? Wave one, wave two, wave three, wave four, I think. Right now, the bottom of wave one was respected. There's a zone here, right, that I think that was good to fade. And now I think we could start seeing wave five. So this is telling me, this chart here is telling me that we could see Bitcoin get offered, right? And is that a precursor to what's going to happen to risk? Is this a crowded market? Let's see the daily chart. Right now, you saw the sequence on the weekly. Let's see the daily chart here. Let's put this up a little bit. I'm struggling a little bit with my mouse. I do think there was an ending diagonal that broke here, right? And let's take this count out so we can see it a little bit more clearly. I think that this, was an ending diagonal on the daily chart. And again, this is a very high vol asset, right? This was price exhaustion into that zone that I highlighted on the weekly chart, right? Price exhaustion into that zone, ending diagonal. Look at the RSI. Look at these highs compared to these. There's price exhaustion. This was a good short. So BTC as or Bitcoin as a precursor to risk, telling us that risk may be a little bit saturated. Let's keep looking. So let's look at cross yen. Right, cross yen is another big telltale in my opinion, right? So let's look at euro yen again, right? Let's see if we get any clues against these highs here. With RSI a little bit shady, I'm okay being short against these highs, right? Sterling yen, I think, looks a little bit better. And let's go to the weekly chart. So you see what I'm talking about? I think there is a sequence here that is tradable with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now into an A, B, C pattern where A equals C. And if we start seeing this fail, we have a lot of room to run here on the downside. If this is indeed an A, B, C pattern, something to keep an eye on. I am a little bit short sterling yen, risking these highs right here, trading it. Congestion here in what would be the bottom of a wave C, right, on an ABC pattern. We've seen vicious C waves. Let's go back to the daily. So to me, this has good risk reward. I'm trading it. A lot of downside. I'm going to risk, this cluster up here, see if it works. So cross yen is indicating to me that risk may be getting offered a little bit as well. We can start seeing some demand for yen. So with that, let's see what equities are doing. Start with SPOOS. And I think here on this chart that we're seeing that same pattern that we've seen on other risk charts, which is that ending diagonal, right? And when I put a target move, ending diagonals typically retrace the move from when they start, right? There's a prior high here. If you look at this RSI as well, you're starting to see this thing kind of turn the other way. I think there was exhaustion here against this high as well. So I don't think it's a bad idea to be shaded short a little bit on this chart. NASDAQ, NQ1, similar sequence, 1, 2, big wave 3. Could we see a corrective wave 4? Lower, and then we see what happens. So there's 300 to 400 basis points to the downside. I think so. Congested here, exhaustion. I think we could see this thing go lower. One that has given me fits is the DAX. Again, on the daily chart, look at this divergence already, right? Look at the RSI making highs with this high, lower highs with this high, lower highs with this high. So it's making marginal highs in price and lower highs on RSI. I think that this is getting tired, right? I'm a little bit short DAX as well. So, you know, as a precursor of risk, to summarize a little bit, Bitcoin showing as a little exhaustion. I still believe that the dollar is carving a bottom. I do think equities have good convexity to be short, risking recent highs on the on SPOs and on a Nasdaq and on Nasdaq futures. I think the DAX is getting tired. All in, um, you know, I don't think there's a lot to be excited about. It's just trading. Know where you're wrong. As always, if you like the videos, please like them. Please subscribe to the channel. And see you next week, guys.